Hey everybody, back a little bit earlier tonight. Going to be doing Silverhawk coloring. This is the last one in the set for the Silverhawks thread. It is SteelHeart, which is the sister to Steel Will. I'm going to share this over with the page real quick, and then I will get started right away on this. I'm going to be using Copic, so it should be pretty fair in the speed department. We'll see how it goes. Uh, She has more of a green tint to her armor than most of the others. Okay, there we go. Cool deal. And what I'm going to be knocking out on this one, like I said yesterday, I like to put in a base coat of some sort. This one has a little more green in it, and I'd like to lean that way for the base coat, just to give it that primal element of whichever metal was used. And I got asked yesterday when I did the Quicksilver why that they look different and where the process came from and whatnot for the Silverhawks armor, and it was a development that came from according to the series, the development came from Copper Kid and his homeworld, and when we befriended their species, they ended up helping us have that technology. So that's where that came from. We had the ability, the industrial tech left to do it, where his planet was destroyed. So we didn't get to work with his people too much other than that. But that was the premise of the cartoon. And that's where the technology came from. So I thought it was developed strictly by the Earthling government. Of course, we're very arrogant and cocky in the way we do stuff like that and think about things like that. But I found out later in years that the cartoon actually stated that it developed by the Copper Kids planet, and we used the mixed technology of Earth and the surrounding planets to get that set up to where we could defend everybody. So, since then, the Silverhawks have been running around and in the sci-fi universe taking care of business, and that's why. So I hope that answers that question. But yep. Let's see here, knocking this out pretty quick, and like I said, she's gonna have a lot of green on this base coat because of the fact that the elements in her armor are just different. So they didn't go in and just use everything. They had to, excuse me, they had to cope with the bodies of the Silverhawks characters for different types of metal, which their body wouldn't reject in their cybernetic implants. So that's pretty heavy stuff when you think about how deep that went for a cartoon, But it is what it is. So that's what we have. But a lot of those cartoons used to go, they're campy now. Like G.I. Joe's pretty campy, but a lot of it still holds up pretty good. And I was an '80s kid, so I really like it anyway. And I'm biased because it's my childhood, and I'm not willing to give that up. Just freely, and say it's stupid and put it away. But because it's part of who I was as a comic artist, who that's part of the stuff that I developed with an understanding of storytelling and things like that, and related to. So, and I could always count on those cartoons to be there every afternoon, where sometimes due to finances and things that family couldn't be, and I understand that. They did the best they could. I have nothing against my family; they're awesome. So, and no ill will meant there by any means. But yeah, it's always cool to to find different things to relate to and bond to and find entertaining. So that's what I got from that, and that's why I like these so much, and that's why I'm still a cartoon guy to this day. Yes, I love comics, and I draw comics, and I create and write and all that good stuff too. but there's still a special spot for these old cartoons. And all the way from the 60s stuff to modern day, you know, it's really relevant to me in that regard. So I find it very, very cool. Let's see, how are we doing here? I'm adding in a light blue here to boost this up just a little bit and give it more of that metallic look. It's heading that direction, so just beefing it up a little bit. I don't want to darken this in so much that we put anatomy where it doesn't, you know, need to be for the kiddos watching. I've seen artists do that. They'll go in and they'll put in, you know, like a faux, lack of a better thing, a faux nurple, as my daughter likes to call them, to keep from using the correct term. But and hopefully she's watching right now. She's staying with family right now, visiting. Hopefully she's having a good time. She's normally here with me in the office when I do these, but not tonight. Hey, Jim, you made it, man. Jeremy, how you doing, buddy? I'm going to pop in a couple of darker blues to make this come up. And then I've got a bright green that I'm going to pop in there and change that up so it'll go back down to the greenish tint. But I have to put in this one because it's going to, without it, it'll oversaturate and it'll turn bright green, and I don't want to do that. I don't want it to overwhelm it. As I do this one like this, these colors will meld together as they dry and set, and it'll build up a stronger and stronger and stronger look, because you can already see it starting to fade in and dry and set. I hope that's showing up on cam as much as I want it to. But yeah, this is phenomenal. The gradations these Copics get, there's a reason that this set of markers is $2,000. And not that I'm bragging for having the whole set. I just got, you know, I've been fortunate enough to work with doing that. So I had to have it for the comics and the stuff that I do, the graphic stuff as well. But I use them on these cards on occasion. Just depends on what I want the effect to look like. And tonight I want this one to come across really clean, so that's why we're going that route. And it's also a great tutorial to show people how to use them, because I get asked all the time, you know, how do you use your Copics and whatnot, and blah 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 blah. It's just not that I'm blah blah blahing about everybody asking me. I'm just saying that it's the way that you know, I'm constantly asked 50,000 different things about it. That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to give any offense to you guys or misinterpretations that I'm saying, you know, you crush me or kill me with this, you know, all the talk and chatter. Not by any means. I welcome the questions. Bring them on. I welcome the conversation. I like it. I like it. So, anyway, I've been seeing a lot of people ripping on their fans and stuff lately, and I just, please don't think that of me, because I'm not saying that at all. Oh, man. Let's see. I think that's coming across really well here. And she has a crease in her visor that a lot of people don't really recognize, because on the cartoon it shows up in places and then it goes away in others, depending on the animation and the art. But she has a crease in her forehead, a permanent crease in her forehead. Now I'm going to go with this other green that I was talking about. It's kind of an olive green, and there's a reason I'm going with this one, because it'll pull through the blue and it'll pop it out just a little bit heavier, but it'll be a richer, greener tint rather than a hard gray, which I don't want to do in this particular piece, because I want to use that as the heavy shadows next to the blacks and not drown that out. That color has to be there because, like I said, she has more of a green tint than the others do. And the reason for that is because of the metal that she's armored with tends to lean that way. Like Steel Will, her brother, has more of a pink and mother of pearl look to his armor. She has more of a green, where Bluegrass has more of a dark blue. And Copper Kid, of course, has the big, bold orange, copper, yellow type of color to him. But by doing them this way, it's easier to differentiate. You know, they're not like they're not like the Michael Bay Transformers, you know, where they all look the same. They're all gray and washed out and, you know, look like clockwork and cogs and, you know, machinery just blowing up when they transform. They look a little more uniform, but yet unique in their own right this way. And I like that about them. So, and not that I'm knocking Michael Bay's Transformers, it's just, I'm a traditionalist, so I see, you know, the old school cartoon type of Transformers. However, they would look like Power Ranger stuff if they transformed like that, you know, and blocky on screen, and I totally respect and understand where they're coming from with that, but still in the same token, though, I would like to see something a little more reminiscent in between as the medium, especially with special effects the way they are now, rather than just going, you know, toy-worthy of rebooting. So, I'm going to grab this wild thing here. Going to grab this nice smoky gray here. It is a C6, so it's a cold one. And like I said, I don't want to draw up anything crazy on here, so keep that leveled out. Kind of go across the top here. I flicked the card there and got a little touch of splatter, but it didn't make a full line, so I'm not going to worry too much. Be careful around your edges because these markers will saturate. And like I said, when you flip the edge, like off the edge of the card, you'll get little splatters now and again, but it's okay. I'm not even worried. All right. Yeah, they came out cool. Okay, I'm going to get up under this chin just a little bit. Put a couple of lines in here. And she's one of the she has one of the darker armors, which cracks me up because she's one of the lightest characters. But whatever, man. I mean, they had to make her stand up, especially in the 80s. They had to make her stand out as a prominent character because, you know, women weren't allowed in the military in combat situations at that point, and they were starting to make that movement in the mid 80s and early 90s and starting talking about that and moving forward with that so ladies could get into the armed forces and get into those better positions. And I'm totally cool with that. I mean, no matter what you think about it politically, I don't discuss politics. Please keep it off my comments because I will have to delete it. I don't want to have any arguments or confrontations about it. What I'm saying here generally is this was an inspirational piece to get awareness for women that wanted to be heroic and in combat, and that was a driving force of what they wanted to do in life, which I'm all for that. If that's what they want to do, go for it. I totally support that. But, I mean, it is what it is, so women have the right to do that. And this was a big curve of changing perspective on that. You know, G.I. Joe was big on that too. A lot of groups hated that show because of the fact that it had female characters in combat situations, which was totally unrealistic with the time, which, I say if they're tough enough to do it, let them do it. If that's what they want to do. But that's their choice too. So let's see here. I think we've about got this, believe it or not. Now I'm going to put a funky little dark edge right along that edge of that hairline, because that mask raises up. That visor there raises up along the hair, so I'm going to put just a little bit in here to kind of shade that down and make it pop up a little more. Wow, that looks way better than I thought it would. Now what I'm going to go in and do here is I'm going to add, to contrast this just a little bit, I'm going to put in a little bit of this neon pink here, just to kind of rattle the cages just a little and show a little contrast. I really, really have fun with these because of stuff like this right here. Even though it's Major League Green, I'm still going to have a little bit of an oxidated element inside to make it pop out just a little bit. And that'll give it an even smoother metallic look. And it'll firm it up just a little to make it hold up a little better and not be quite as dark and hard and cold in the color. But I don't want it to glow like a like a Tron character or anything strange like that. I've noticed they're doing that a lot with the new Black Panther armor. They've made him, every ridge has a highlight in it, and it's making it have this purple or blue kind of highlight thing going on, which I think is a little awkward because it's supposed to be the Black Panther. But, they're making every adaptation change, so I just go with the flow there, I suppose. Now on this one, I'm going to put this insignia in purple to offset it. Of course, yes, I know it's blue in most cases, but like I said, I wanted to do a little bit different variation on this one. So that's what we've got. Now, I'm going to come in with a dark, dark, dark purple, but it will dry very clean and very cool. It'll dry much lighter than it shows here. It dries kind of like a grape Kool-Aid. Purple. I'm going to run around this edge here, being very cautious not to go over on this one because it'll try to flood over the black. And if I get too far in and it bleeds over, then I'll have to go in and thicken up that black line towards the inside, and I don't want to do that because I want to keep her very soft and feminine while keeping her very slick looking as well. Going in and putting a big purple line around her or a big thick black line would definitely add weight to the character very heavily. I'm going to try not to do that. Okay. There we go. Making the connection here. Now, when I get this done, this one is going straight up on the sketchbook. So I really, really, really wanted to see this and have this set happen because this is my last Silverhawk in this series. They are all now completely colored, which is awesome. And I didn't go in and do Monstar or any of the goons or whatever. You know, I didn't want to do that because I wanted to keep it clean with this one and keep moving forward, because I didn't want it to go so far out into the animated stuff. And then I turned around and did He-Man Forever. I did something like 10 He-Man cards and 10 Thundercat cards, and you know, it just started getting sidetracked. So I wanted to get back to basics with the comics, so I stopped doing those. But this is the final one for this particular set, for the few Silverhawks that I did, and that's where we're at. Okay. Now, just to recap a little, if you guys are interested, let's see. There's Quicksilver. There is SteelHeart's brother, Steel Will. There is the Copper Kid. There is, let me see here. There's Commander Stargazer. There is Bluegrass. So we have them all. They're all finished up. That is the entire set of what I did there for those. And people have been telling me this this Lion-O here, it has a glow effect to it, which I found out that it's due to the fact that the way I colored the hair and then the Copics layered out the different color ranges, it gives it a glowing effect. So came out pretty cool. But anyway, this is where we are at right now with the Silverhawk set. I have them all knocked out here, all 6. Boom, done deal. Hope you guys can see all of those because they're sliding off my desk because of the incline. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, cool deal. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going through this process. And I want you to keep going on with it, because we are going to be knocking all of these bad boys out and getting the entire set underway. Let's see here. Who's up tomorrow? I have a surprise for you tomorrow. I'm going to wait, and I don't want to spoil that, but I'm going to be penciling a card tomorrow, so I don't want to spoil that one, so I'm going to leave that there. And I will catch you guys tomorrow for it. So keep up the good work and keep on progressing the way you should be, and you know, doing your part for the world. So as you know, the regular routine with me, please do your part. We've got this world for a little while. Leave it better than you found it for the next generation. Talk to you tomorrow.